Hey squad, this is Sandy with Karmic Currency, and if you really want to learn how to level up your life, you should absolutely be listening to Time to Shine today with my friend, Scott Ferguson.
Hey, Time to Shine today, squad. Scott Ferguson here, and I am very privileged to bring you an interview I did with Sandy Fernandez, aka the Money Angel. She's published author with her awesome book, Karmic Currency. She's been interviewed on Bloomberg. She's been interviewed in Brickell Magazine. It's a fantastic interview. So do me a favor, look past some of the audio issues because she had somebody in the background doing her lawn at the time, but it still comes through pretty clear, and you'll still be able to pick up her knowledge nuggets that she drops on you to level up your life, her love for family, love, and connection. So without further ado, here's Sandy Fernandez, the Money Angel. Hey, Time to Shine squad. It's Scott Ferguson here, and I am super stoked that I have the Money Angel, Sandy Fernandez, coming on the show to drop some serious knowledge nuggets about karmic currency and leveling up your life. She's the president and founder of Karmic Currency, the energy behind business and finance, a holistic and spiritual approach to dealing with finance and money. Sandy helps clients to understand how to unlock the power of the energetic body in order to manifest success and abundance in their lives. She's a published author. And again, I already mentioned people refer to her as the Money Angel. She spent 21 years in the finance business, always at the top end of her company. She's featured twice in Brickell Magazine with Fork in the Road and Power Moves. She's also been interviewed twice in the Bloomberg radio show. Sandy has also been featured on the Yogi Times with her piece Tales of a Hostile Yogi. Wow, there's some serious credentials. Welcome to the show, Sandy. And if you could, please share with us your favorite color and why.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Scott, for having me. And I always love to hear my own bio because I'm always really impressed by my own accomplishments. I'm like, well, that really sounds fancy.
You should be, honey. That's awesome.
And currently my favorite color for right now this week is yellow. I actually have it on my desk. And do you want to know why? Is that going to be
please let us know why.
Well, because obviously since I work with the energetic body, the color yellow represents within your body, it holds right in your solar plexus. And this is your willpower, your self-esteem, your courage, and your ability to just act, and get shit done. Can I cuss on the show?
Please, that's fine. Okay, I'll hit the explicit button. You'll be fine.
That'll be great. So it really just powers you to do that. So currently this week, all over my desk, I have my yellow candle, I have my yellow lemon oil, and I've been wearing yellow all week. So yes,
a lot of how you match up your energy like that to colors. That's fantastic because a lot of people say red, and there's a reason why I asked the color, which you'll see after this podcast actually drops, and you'll see that. But a lot of people say red because of aggressive or blue because of the feeling, but you're actually go with your flow. You're locking your flow with where you're at now. And I love that honesty. So let's take us back to your 21 years in the financial business and kind of take us from there into how we rolled into Karmic Currency, please.
Yeah. So it's been a long journey. So I'll give you really the cliff notes, right? Because it's been a long process, 21 years. But I started in banking when I was 19. I started as a teller, and I talk a lot about that in my book, throughout that process. And really, throughout that time, I never wanted to work with money. I hated math. I just never wanted to be involved in any of this process. And when I got into banking truly was changing at that time. And it was moving more towards a sales culture. Like when I started working, the bank still closed at 3:00 and there were no weekend hours. So this was a really sweet job.
Right. Banker's hours, right?
This is where it came from because we close at 3:00.
Right.
So it was really nice, to kind of go through that journey. And at that time, I really got in at the time, like I said, where banking was evolving and it was going more towards a sales culture. And that's truly the niche and the space that I started to excel in. And that's really what made me honestly really fall in love with my career and fall in love really with banking, if anybody could even believe that.
No.
But I truly loved my job because the sales aspect was helping people. And I loved to help people. And now I was just helping people with their money, and I was just giving them advice. And it started really simple. Like debit cards had just started. There was no online banking. People still had to come to the bank. You know, I mean,
but you seriously worked your way from the bottom up, correct?
I really, really did.
I mean, you started basically, you hear all these business stories. I started in the mailroom, but you started as a teller, which really is the bottom rung. I mean, it's the most important rung because, you know, you are the first impression when you walk in, but that's great.
Yeah.
So,
and when I finished my career, I ended up, you know, a vice president, VP for an institution, and really managing a team of staff, a team of employees. And at one point I had just under of $100 million in asset and portfolio management under my watch and my staff. So yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That's amazing. It was fun.
So you're working in banking. You've been in there 21 years. So basically, if a kid was born that you started, they're able to drink by the time you get out legally, right? Okay. So what was the aha moment that said, we're moving out of the banking world and I'm going to start, you know, a coaching business, if you will, which you're a phenomenal coach. So can you give us that aha moment?
Yeah. I mean, I think there were a series of aha moments. I think that in life, we always have to have kind of more than one wake-up call. Like we see the signs and then we ignore them, and then we're like, you know, that sign wasn't loud enough, you know, God or universe or whatever it is that you want to believe, whatever your faith is. And you're like, yeah, no, I need a bigger sign. That one was too little. I need something bigger. And so there were a series of things. But I mean, I always respected my clients. I mean, at the end of the day, my clients and the people that we would pursue when we were actively selling at the bank were entrepreneurs. These are the most successful clientele. These are the people who the bank wants to give money to, the people who want to keep the highest deposits, who have the most employees. Like, this was our appetite. And I'm like, okay, well, I want to do that. You know, I want to make my own money. I mean, I'm making a cush salary, benefits, weekends, 401k, but I want freedom. I'm tired of my boss checking in on me all the time. I'm tired of dealing with these kids, employees calling in sick and performance reviews and doing all the corporate, you know, hoo-ha. You know, I used to get in trouble a lot at the bank. They used to call me the Maverick. Like, I was like this with the HR director.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're like, Sandy, come on in.
Yeah, because they're always like, Sandy, you know, you can't, you know, you got to tone it down, because I was always just challenging, you know, the status quo. And one time they asked me, Sandy, what's your strength? And I'm like, I don't take no for an answer. And they're like, well, what's your weakness? I don't take no for an answer.
I love that. I love it. So when you moved out of the finance world into your phenomenal life now, you have 2 children, correct?
Yes, I have 2 sons.
You have 2 sons, fantastic boys. What was theirs and even the rest of your family's thought about making the choice to move away from, you're probably making a significant living, into what you're doing now, which obviously it's all worked out, but there had to have been that, oh shit moment.
Yeah. And honestly, we still have those oh shit moments, you know, because entrepreneurship, you know, is a roller coaster. It's very rewarding. It's very beautiful. I mean, every day I wake up and I do something I love. I'm not doing anything that I don't like. And I don't care if I'm on my computer until midnight, because I love what I'm doing.
Love it. Right.
You know? But yeah, when and kind of what happened, and when I was featured in Brickle magazine, was truly about this crucial moment where I was recruited from the institution that I was at to launch a brand new office and really grow those deposits and transfer my portfolio of clients and all the stuff that they want me to do. And 6 months into that job, they fired me.
Wow.
They called me into the office and they were like, we don't think that this is a good fit. And to be completely transparent, I was freaking miserable. Like, I hated that job. And I told my boss, I said, dude, if I could have interned here for 2 weeks, I would have. And I would have never taken this job. Like, I could have taken 2-week vacation from my job.
Right.
And I would have told you within 2 weeks, hell no. Like, keep your money. But as a single mom, they threw a lot of money at me. Sign-on bonus, the whole thing. It was very hard for me to say no. But that was truly that moment where I took that step and I said, this is it. You know, I'm starting my own company. I'm done with the corporate rigmarole. Like, this is it. This is the final sign from the universe that gave me the push that I needed. And it was hard. It was really hard. Like, my family was like, oh my God, are you sure? You know, this is crazy. Like, you have a really cush job. And what about the kids and their health insurance? And, you know, I actually heard a rumor through the grapevine that one of the old managers that I worked with actually told another colleague, they said, hey, I heard Sandy left banking to go be a psychic. I was like, well, really? Of all the things that you're going to say I'm doing, a psychic? Okay.
We always talk about on our podcast how we're going to, or even in the emails that I used to send out to my squad out there before I started the podcast, is you're going to always have your haters, right? And but you use them as...
haters turn into fans. And if you don't have a hater, you're not doing something right.
They do. And haters are motivators. That's how I've always looked at it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So with your company, what do you think makes a great coach? A great leader?
I think truly a great leader is, I think, very different than a coach.
Sure, I agree.
You know, because I've been in leadership positions and I've been in leadership roles, and those were very different to when I transitioned to coach. You know, a coach is somebody who's in there in the game with you. You know, they're there, they roll up their sleeves and they're like, okay, come on, you got this, you can do this. And they're there to motivate you and keep you accountable and coach you and say, it's okay, fine, you didn't get it this time. Dust yourself off, shake it off, let's go. You know, this is not the end of it. And I think that that's really important, to have a coach, not just that motivates you, but that can truly understand where you've been and where it is that you want to go. Okay. Sometimes I see coaches, and no offense to the young people out there who are coming in and looking at life coaching as a career. That's beautiful. And everybody has their niche and everyone has their gift. And some people are natural motivators. But for me personally, when I am looking for someone to coach me on my business, I need to be able to connect to that person. And I need to know that that person understands me and that they've got some experience. You know, at our age, we've been through some shit. You know, we've been through divorce, through childbirth, getting fired, you know, having jobs, having responsibilities. When someone doesn't have those things, it makes it very difficult for them to truly relate on such a profound level with you.
Understood.
And I think that for me is kind of what sets me apart, is that I have so much life experience.
Sure. Well, I've read some of the testimonials about you and stuff, and what I'm finding out about you as being a coach is a lot of these coaches have like a cookie cutter approach, where, like you just said, you're basically in the trenches, you're biting on the same mouthpiece they are, pushing them forward and getting them rocking. How did you develop that sense of, you know, being able to compartmentalize people's different personalities?
Well, I've always had spiritual gifts since I'm a kid. So I'm a clairvoyant. So based on that, already intuitively and energetically, I'm very receptive to people's energies. And I already see more than what people say. Okay. You know, so I can kind of read behind the fluff. A lot of times when I do coaching and I ask a question, someone will answer it in one way and I go, no, don't tell me what you think I want to hear. Tell me the truth.
I love it.
So that's very beneficial with coaching clients, is that I'm able to, you know, to see through that.
I love it. And so tell us about the journey of our Karmic Currency Squad. I've read the book, and I usually will read any book that people send me, but it'll take me a good week to get through. I read it in probably 2.5 hours, and that's just because I took a little dive in the ocean in the middle of reading it. I read it here in Juno Beach. Tell us a little bit about moving into this book's moving. You cover everything from teaching people the basics of what a chakra is to the food that you eat can affect your chakras. And what tell us the origin of this book. I mean, it's a fantastic book. And by the way, squad, we're going to have a giveaway, and that'll all be in the show notes. But can you? Because Sandy actually was kind enough to send me 2 copies, autographed as well.
Yes.
Share with us, please, the origin of the book and how that got started.
So The process of writing a book is very lengthy, and I'm actually really excited because I'm going to start working on my second book this year. But truly, the premise kind of came about because when I was in the banking and I started to explore spirituality as a whole, as a single mom, as I mentioned, and just trying to find balance and trying to find peace in this chaos corporate background and trying not to kill anybody in the process. I started exploring these things. And so I started practicing yoga, and then I became a certified yoga teacher. And through the yoga teacher training, you learn about the chakras, which is something that I always was fascinated by, but I never really truly got it. Like it didn't make sense to me. And it wasn't until that process that it started to all click together. Then I started to see this energetic connection with my clients at the bank. And this is the moment where you have this, aha, there's something here. And now you start to play detective and you start peeling back. And I started doing these really social experiments with my clients that they didn't really know. And I started asking them specific questions and different things. And they were like, well, why are you asking me that? And I would just go home and then just journal it all and write it and write it and write it.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So you
and
did
that's
that.
really how the book came about. That's how I was able to piece it together, which were all true stories on clients that I had met, clients that I had interacted with, and how I started to connect this. And in the yoga community, they did not really receive this whole connection very well.
Really? You think anybody that they would in a heartbeat?
It was not very well received because in the yoga community, they only associate one chakra to money, which ironically you mentioned in the beginning that most people love the color red.
Sure.
And red is associated with the chakra that, according to most yogic principles, is money. But I found a way, because of my experience, because of my background in money, to find a way to connect it to all of them. And I'm going, no, you guys, this is there's so much more here. We haven't even scratched the surface on how deeply our connection with money runs. I mean, every time I work with a client, my mind is just blown at the stuff that we uncover and how deeply rooted our relationship with money flows through our mind, through our thoughts, through the things that we do, our beliefs, just everything. It's crazy. I love it.
No, it's a fantastic read. And my last podcast was I affectionately call Bless This Cash, and it just dropped. And I've gotten a lot of emails and texts from my squad and actually other people to listen to it. But what do you think about sending money out to the universe and blessing it, and then asking for it to come back to you, 100 or a millionfold? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, listen, absolutely. And those are all biblical principles. And when I deal with clients, one of the questions that I have on my questionnaire is, what is your religious affiliation? Because this is where a lot of our beliefs come with money. So absolutely. I strongly believe that what you give, you get back. You give and you shall receive. Right now I'm working with a client who she's having to deal with a lot of religious beliefs because she was raised Mormon.
Cool. Gotcha.
And which I had to kind of Google a little bit more on their specific religious beliefs. And a lot of her beliefs on money are very resentful because the religion is very similar to like a Christian, evangelical, or even Catholic, which is not even the same, but different, that they have to tithe and they have to give 10% of their money.
Sure.
And when you grow up with such a rigid belief system, you tend to then resent your money.
Right.
And you tend to hold some animosity there towards it. But once you understand energetically what the thought process is and truly how this is really a beautiful thing for you to do, to give your money, then you can truly put yourself in the place to receive. But if you just want to go through the motions and just write, I'm going to give whatever I get back, that's great. If it makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside, that's cool.
Sure.
But you can't fool the language of energy, which speaks no English. It speaks vibration. And if your vibration is not aligned, you can write whatever you want. It's not going to happen for you, boo. It's just not going to happen.
Well, I love that you just said speaks the vibration. That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you something. You have some experience in life and in business on two sides of different businesses. What would you, if you were able to speak to the 23, 24-year-old Sandy, what would you tell her?
Man, let me tell you, I just literally had this revelation the other day when everybody was kind of putting up their like 10-year, the decade picture that was going all over social media.
Right.
And ironically, just 10 years ago, I am just not the same person that I am today. I mean, down to like hair color. I had jet black hair. Now I'm blonde, and I'm still on the beach though, which is great.
There you go.
But it was interesting because the advice that I would give myself, and I actually wrote it out, was nothing analytical. And it was nothing that was, hey, invest in real estate.
Right, right.
Make sure you put more money into your 401k.
I would almost picture you basically telling that person to lock into your flow and accept things no matter good or bad. Because, I mean, you have shared with me, you're a young mother. And something that at that time you are raising children and maybe lock into that flow. That's it. But what you're saying is, nothing analytical. I love that.
It was all, continue to be strong, continue to be brave, find your power. You're gonna make it. It's gonna be amazing. And what's in store for you is so beautiful. And I actually read it out loud. I host a monthly workshop. Nice. The lawnmower guy is back.
Fine. We'll work around it. Don't worry about it.
Okay. I don't think it has been 30 minutes. But
it hasn't been close to 30, but we're
25.
Okay. We're okay. Let me ask you something. Is there any, being a coach, and I ask this of coaches sometimes, is there any good question that you wish people would ask you but never do?
I think, wow, that's like a really powerful question. I think the majority of the clients and the majority of the people that I work with, because like attracts like, so we tend to attract people who are similar to us, and the people who I work with are all very strong, very independent people. And I think that one of the things that's people never ask me is if I need help or if I need support on anything. And I think that's definitely a very powerful question to ask people.
Okay.
Is, how do you want to be supported? What does support look like to you? How can I help you? How can I help you succeed? How can I help you be better?
What is the one thing that has blown Sandy's mind?
That my shit actually works.
Did you hear that, squad? Sometimes you go in, she might have had fears, doubts, everything, but she still progressed. I'm sure she had failures, but when she failed forward, and she just kept with the persistence and backed that with that didn't recognize failure. That's awesome.
I just recognized that I was onto something, and I was like Scooby-Doo, on the mystery machine, like just trying to unfold and figure this all out. And I was like, we're going to solve this case, Shaggy. We're onto something.
Let's get it.
And every time I work with a client, my mind is blown, and I've helped hundreds of people. And every single time I'm like, wow.
So if leaving out your cell phone, what are the 3 things you can't live without?
Oh my God. On my cell phone. Okay.
Outside your cell phone.
Oh, outside of my cell phone.
Yes.
3 things you can't live without. Okay. Food.
There we go.
I'm like a major foodie. Like
okay.
I love to like.
Well, you live in a great area to get good food. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I do. But definitely food. I have to have my music on all the time.
Okay.
So I always have, and I know that you can see, I don't know if we're going to share this, but if you see right here when I turn my screen, that's my TV back there.
Yeah.
So I'm always playing soft, some chill music in the background. And I think connection.
Nice.
I can't, like, I'm not a lonely person. I enjoy connection. I enjoy conversations. I enjoy meeting people and speaking to people. And I think that if I couldn't be Tom Hanks on a desert island, like, I would just die.
You need the connection. So tell me this then, what's your definition of a life well lived?
A life well lived is a life filled with love, filled with family, and filled with connection. If you're not connecting, if you're not loving, if you're not living your purpose, I mean, what the hell are you even here for?
I love that. So we're going to move into a lightning round real quick, level up lightning round. We're all about leveling up here at Time to Shine today. I'm going to ask you 5 or 6 questions, and you and I could talk for 20 minutes on it, but I'm going to limit you to 10 seconds.
Okay.
Maximum, okay?
All right, I'm excited.
Ready? Go. What's the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
Find something that you're good at and be the best at it.
Love it. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Motivational quotes. I have them everywhere. I write them on my back.
That is awesome. Other than your own website and, of course, Time to Shine today, recommend to us an internet resource where my squad could level up their life.
So currently right now I'm a big fan of, and I have been a big fan of Gabrielle Bernstein. She is a author and life coach. So I enjoy a lot of her stuff. And currently right now, a friend has me in this bizarre love-hate relationship with Dave Ramsey.
He's tough. I did his stuff before. Yep. How about a book? Recommend to the squad a book that they must read, other than Karmic Currency, which they're going to. But
well, obviously, outside of my book. But right. I think to date, one of my favorite all-time books and authors still to date right now is Paulo Coelho. And
The Alchemist, right?
The Alchemist. Like, that is, I've read it like 4 times, and it's still one of my go-to books for people who are not avid readers. I mean, it's just, and honestly, I just relate so much to it, because really life is just about that. It's finding those serendipitous moments and finding those moments in life that lead you to the next place, and then looking back and seeing how it was all connected.
I love it.
And just so amazing.
Okay, recommend to us a charity organization, or I'm sorry, not recommend. What's your favorite charity organization that you like to give your time and your money to?
I think anything really that supports women and women's empowerment. I'm also going to be actually this year converting one of my companies into a non-for-profit so that I can truly take that to another level and truly help women more.
Beautiful.
And then I'm actually working in July. I'm actually going to be doing a men's health panel. As a mom of 2 sons, I'm like, okay, I need to really, share some love with my men out there and bring awareness to health and spirituality from a male perspective, which is, so needed.
Last question. Best decade of music, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
80s, baby.
Right.
Come on.
Love it.
80s.
So, before we wind it down, Sandy, can you share with us one knowledge nugget that you want to make sure our whole squad walks away with that'll help them level up their life?
So one of the biggest things that I can give anybody listening is to truly manifest abundance and to truly create wealth, which is something that everybody wants. It's so important for you to truly connect and understand what your beliefs are about money. And it's not enough to say it. It's truly sitting in a meditative state and truly visualizing and getting a number in your mind that you want. And from there, start to see what starts to happen in your body. Do you start to get nervous? Are you starting to get afraid? All of a sudden you're getting a stomach ache. Are you getting a headache? So all of a sudden you're like going into a panic. This is the level that you are operating in that is either stopping you from succeeding and moving forward, or it's going to propel you to move forward. So really get comfortable with money and what you're doing with it, avoiding it, hating it, talking shit to it, treating it badly, or loving it.
Got it. Love that. So how can we find you? And do you have any events, or everything's going to go in the show notes? So everything you say right now, please share with us.
Awesome. So I have tons of stuff going on. When are we going to launch this? When are you going to roll it out? Next week?
Yeah, around that. We're in
Okay.
Editing is like 7 to 10 days from today, and today is February 19th.
All right. Well, for local people that are here in Florida or in Miami, I am doing a live next week, Thursday, the 27th, which is a women's empowerment conference where I will be one of the speakers, keynote speakers there. Every month, I do hold in person here in Miami a monthly workshop called Spirit Talks. I am available online for Skype, phone, personal one-on-one. I have all different price points for different budgets. I really want to meet people where they're at financially and truly help them. So obviously everything is priced, in different tiers. But the thing that I'm most excited about is that I am rolling out a 7-week, which is 70 days, 59 days, transformational. So it's an online virtual course. $500 deposit. You get a complete set of chakra candles. Look at this, how cool. I mean, I know you can see it, but they get the complete set. They smell really good.
It's yellow too.
I told you that yellow was on my desk today. And the oils, all the oils that go with it. So like I said, I'm working with this. So this is the lemon oil that works with this point. You get stones and crystals that go with it. And then in addition to that, you don't just get the spiritual element, but you get the analytical stuff that goes with it. Like, look at your checking account. Where's your budget? Contribute to your 401k. Do you have life insurance? Have we gotten pre-approval for your house? So there are analytical steps that go into this, not just energy. So I'm super excited about that. That actually rolls out March 25th. It's only open to 12 people.
12 people? Beautiful.
Yep. So.
All right, squad. Well, this has been like such a pleasure. I'm always talking about surrounding ourselves with top vibing peeps who stay humble, they stay hungry, leveling up their health, leveling up their wealth. And for somebody that is so about family, love, and connection, I'm humbled and grateful to have you on, Sandy, and you're part of our squad now, so you're going to have to deal with that. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Oh, and by the way, they can follow me on Instagram, which is really where I'm most active, and it's at Karmic Currency. So you can just Google me and I should everything should come up. So Karmic Currency, social media, I'm always on there.
Love it. Thanks so much, Sandy.
Have
a great day, hon.
You too.
Bye now. Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Time to Shine Today podcast. Proudly brought to you by Sutter & Nugent Real Estate Excellence, who can be reached at 561-249-7266 and online at www.sutterandnugent.com. If you're a business owner or professional who would like to be interviewed on Time to Shine Today, please visit timetoshinetoday.com/guest. If you like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to our website. Also there, you will see our recommended resources. We hope that you will support our show by supporting them. If you like what you've been listening to, it'd be great if you could just give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe while you're at it. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, and until next time, let's level up. It's our time to shine.